What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another quick video. This one we're going to be putting in the low range crawl gears into this transmission because the slow crawl on this thing is not very good. You can make it slow crawl, but the torque pretty much sucks. So that's one issue that I have with the TRX4M out of the box. So I'm going to kind of show you what I've started doing here. I started pulling things apart a little bit. I took this bumper off because check this out. I see potential here. Look at that. That's a really good fit. Just taking the bumper off. Of course, we would do away with the rear. Definitely get rid of this. With the stock battery tray, it fits right underneath this thing. Perfect. With the rubber strap over the battery there, it actually like holds the body on pretty good. To slam it down where I would want it, we'd have to cut a little bit out of here probably for the shocks, but I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, to do this, we're going to pull out 2 screws here. It's these. That will loosen up the battery tray. Now this thing is wedged in between the rails. It's very tight to pop it out. You will think there's more screws in it, but there's not. That comes out. Then you will have your 4 screws for the transmission in each corner. Pull those out. Same thing with it. It was in there kind of tight. Pop it loose and it's free. Then we're just going to take out these 4 screws right here. And for this setup, I'm using this Injora tool set, and these things are really nice. You can see got like a quick release, so that thing locks in there. Really nice. So it comes in this little thing. Obviously, if you take that out of there, that drops in, and then you have all of these: a 0.05, a 1.3, the 1.5 that we're using here, 2.0, 4.0 box, and 5.5 box. So really good for the FCX. The box 5.5 fits those wheel nuts just like these right here, the Injoras. Kind of up inside of there a little bit. Fits really well. But anyways, nice and easy. You can throw it in your pocket really to take with you, or backpack or whatever. Pretty cool little set, and I'm actually liking them. So anyways, back to what we're doing here. These are a little longer screws going into this case, so I set those to the side. You'll want to pull this one out of the drive shaft, and of course it's going to be a different size. It's your 050. So this is what kind of really sucks with this truck, all these bushings. And you know, there's people out there that are like, oh, these oil-filled bushings, I really like them. I mean, I guess if you do a lot of water, not a bad idea, but I prefer bearings. I would rather change my bearings after doing water than run bushings most of the time. So I went ahead and popped the bushings out. Put some bearings in there. Just gonna do bearings as I replace things on this. So I don't want to get these mixed up. Got this one that has like this shape here. I assume that's this one. Looks the same. Gears are quite a bit different, so it's really going to change things up, I think. So I wasn't really willing to pay the $30 or $40 that Traxxas wanted for their bearing kit for this. There's not that many bearings in this. Most of them are around the same size of what we use for the FCX24 and FCX. So I pretty much had all the bearings I needed. All right, so the bolt pattern on this motor, the spread is about 13 millimeters, looks like. So like our speed motor should bolt straight in. We'll have to probably crush that pinion. Not a real good way to get those off. I may be able to get it off. And we may have to glue this pinion. But maybe I may have another one that would work, but we'll have to test that out. But I'm just going to put everything back the way it was. And then, because I want to test this motor with these gears for you guys, kind of compare it against stock. And then we will get into upgrading motors as time goes on. All right, so we're going to start with this gear right here. Put it down like that. Then we got this one. Goes in right there. And then this one, you want this shaft that it slides onto up like that. So that'll all line up when it's in the case. Got bearings in this side now. Just line this up. Now we're just going to put our 4 screws back in the transmission. If I can hold on to them. I really like how they laid the motor sideways. Just everything's tucked down in there nice and low. Really, this would be a great spot. You could even put like your micro receiver here or a Lizard Pro or something, you know, right on the motor. If you just wanted to move things up front, or we got plenty of room for like some side skirts. But the way they've got everything, I mean, this transmission and motor's sitting about as low as you could get it. And it's a nice flat skid on it. I think they did really well with the layout of this truck. And I would like to do a custom build with a custom chassis, but I really don't mind how this one's laid out, honestly. There you go. If you angle that, put the one side in first and then slide it in. That went in pretty easy, so apparently that's the way to do it. I'm learning as I go on these. Battery tray sits nice and low. I really don't even have a problem with where it's at, you know. It's kind of a trade-off. The motor up front, battery up front, whatever. You could switch those. This, I think, is a pretty good layout. I could run a very small battery in here, change this ESC out, go with something smaller, stick it all right up in here, make some little side skirts, boom, set them here. This thing would be a beast, and I am definitely getting to that. Just kind of wanted to do this, some of these testing with some of the different gearing and stuff for you guys on stock before I completely demolish this rig. I need another one. Traxxas wants to send another one for me to just completely destroy. Y'all right. But we're going to see how capable this thing can be, because it's got a lot of potential. All right, so I'm gonna go crawl this thing with these slow gears. We will compare them, a little speed comparison with stock gearing, and do a little crawling, because before this thing would kind of, and then it would just kind of go over stuff. You could really tell it was geared too high. So I am very anxious to see how it does now. So I really actually like this battery strap. It just works very well. So easy. The battery is in a nice, easy spot. Plenty of room for it. Like I said, it sits nice and low. And then this body system, I didn't really talk about it, but it's amazing. You got one tab front, one tab in the rear. It's the easiest thing ever. So Traxxas really did a lot of things right with this thing. That's why I'm super excited about these. So let's compare them. All right, so now we have the stock Defender on the left, stock gearing, everything stock. On the right, we have the slow crawl gears, everything else stock. Let's run them. Oh, wow. That's a big difference on our wheel speed. That's not good. Let's throw a stock FMS FJ Cruiser in over here versus the slow crawl gears from Traxxas in the TRX4M. So that's pretty comparable right there. The FMS is a little faster. Let's check the turning radius with this also. A lot of people kind of want to see this thing. All right, starting at the edge. Got our left turn signal on. Big difference. We'll just leave that there because the Traxxas is going to be about half of that. Not even half. This thing turns on a dime. Going the other direction, and as far as I know, I have the dual rates all the way up on this. It's very confusing with this transmitter. Seems to be a little better to the right. Now the TRX4M, still much tighter turning radius. They killed it with these axles. So the crawling is much better with this gear setup. These trucks are definitely geared for trailing, which they are trail trucks, so that makes sense. But it is really cool that they offer these gears right out of the gate, because honestly, the slow crawl, where you really need like torque and low end, is not very good out of the box. The wheel speed is pretty good, and what I feel like most people will probably want for like a trail truck, and what these are mostly going to be used for. So you may be happy with it out of the box. For me, I'm trying to get a little more performance out of this one. The Defender, I kind of figure that thing's like a wash. That's not going to be a crawler, or maybe it will when I'm done with it. But anyways, you can see I wasn't able to spin up this. I think that's just because this has really been eat up, and the dirt is like, you can see there's holes everywhere where I've been spinning in it. So I kind of had to reset here and just go around. That's a very hard spot for a truck like this anyways, or for any of them at that point, because this dirt is very loose and it's just all spun out and everything. But I think if you watch my other video on this truck, you can tell the slow crawl is much more controllable, especially going like back into reverse to kind of reposition yourself. There's a big difference there going from forward into reverse. Before, when I would do that, it was very hard to put the truck where I wanted it. When I would go to back up to try to place myself in a position, it was hard to do sometimes. And you can see I got caught up a little bit there. That was kind of my fault. Coming back up this, I was surprised I was still able to get up this. And this is really tough, as loose as that dirt is. And you can see I hit it first try. And really, to show what this truck is doing, I put the FJ Cruiser on here as well, trying to run a little bit of this stuff. And, I really like that thing, and I have a lot of fun with that. It still runs stock tires and everything. And you can tell a major difference between this truck and that FJ Cruiser. This thing right here is a lot more capable. and just really works this course a lot better with its turning radius and stuff. I'm not trying to diss the FJ Cruiser. I really like that truck, and it's a lot of fun to trail with. Have a blast with it. But for like indoor and for actually trying to get like more performance, this thing, it absolutely blew me away compared to the FJ Cruiser. Just like coming up this right here, I could not even get started up that with stock tires on the FJ Cruiser. So stock tires on these are pretty dang good. Like, honestly, they do pretty well. For stock tires, they're probably some of the better ones I've ran. And here, I'm really trying to put this in a bind. I was curious if this thing would break. Like right there, I should not keep putting on the gas. Right there, I'm trying. See, I know that's not smart, but I'm testing this thing out. So, you know, nothing gave, nothing broke. It wasn't going to make that. So I repositioned, and boom, you can see right up it. So much better crawling with these gears. Definitely recommend if you are crawling like this here with this thing. If you're trailing, stock gears may be just fine. But for what I like doing, definitely need these gears. Working on tearing one of these completely apart. Going to try to make somewhat of a custom build. And just see what I can do with a stock setup, turn it into a massive crawler maybe. So definitely stay tuned. Click the bell so you get notified of all these videos. And we're going to turn one of these into just a crawling monster. So definitely look out for that. But this thing crawling really well and still has the wheel speed to get most things done on the course. So that's good. The wheel speed is less than I prefer with these gears. I feel like if we could change the ESC and run a 3S, like we'd be set. But I get hung up right here, just dumb. But really, the slow crawl is much better with these gears. But you do sacrifice some wheel speed. Not horrible, but you've seen it. It's quite a bit of difference. But even with the crawler gears, that thing is running about the same amount of wheel speed as this truck here. And I really just kind of tossed this in here because some people have been kind of asking about them and wanting to see a little comparison. And I can do more if you guys want to see more. But really, this thing was struggling. I ran this once before on this course, kind of messing around. And I was just like, no, that don't work. It's 18 scale. It's a trail truck. It really don't fit this course very well. And then after running the TRX4M Bronco, I was like, wow, well, this thing runs it pretty well. Maybe we should revisit that. And, you know, if I change the tires on this, it makes a big difference. I feel like the tires are kind of limiting it. And then maybe get rid of the running boards. They hang up on everything on this truck. But if I did just a couple things like that, I feel like it would be much better. But you'll see right here, I'm not even able to start up this. I actually backed up, patted that back out, and made it nice and smooth again with my hand, trying to give it a fair chance. And I still couldn't get anywhere near getting up that or the rock next to it. You can see there a much smoother ramp coming up that. I tried to fix it a little bit and just give it a chance, but it still wouldn't make it. Really, those side running boards hurt this truck a lot. So if you would take those like steps off and change the tires, I feel like this is a really good truck. I'm not trying to knock this truck at all. It is a lot of fun, but the TRX4M out of the box is definitely more capable as far as the Bronco anyways. The Defender, that thing's got a lot of weight up high. I ran it once on my course, was not impressed. It didn't do much of anything at all, and so I think I'm ditching that big heavy body and going full on custom with that one. So it just don't fit my style real well, so that's what it's going to be. But you can see here these tires were not getting it done. I couldn't get started up this rock at all, and the TRX4M pretty much just went right up that. So big difference in the stock versus stock. Not saying this truck can't be made more capable. It is a lot of fun. I really like this truck. I just wanted to throw it in here for you guys. So I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Lots of stuff coming on all of these 18s. Peace.